Hello, all. This is Pradeep from Shanku's channel, and this is the third video. And here I would like to show you how can we create EC2 machine on AWS. AWS is Amazon Web Services. EC2 is nothing but the virtual server on cloud. So this is the very first video of cloud basics that I'm covering here, and slowly and gradually I'll move on into deep dive of the cloud technology along with some administration or maybe development of the DevOps tools. But that is like too far because I'll have to cover most of the services that we have available in uh, uh, AWS console. So I'll first start with EC2. So how you can launch EC2 machine. So once you are logged in and signed or maybe signed up and logged into the AWS console, you would first see uh, the dashboard page. So let's try it out. So this is how you would be seeing it. If not, you just can search it here, EC2, click here, and then go to instances. So before I launch instances, since I know what would be required, so I am gonna fulfill the prerequisite here by launching one key pair, which is under EC2 only, in the separate, category under EC2 only, under network security, and we have like key pairs here. So key pair is nothing but a, an authentication method to log in into the EC2 machine. So I'll go ahead and launch a Linux machine to test with, right? So I'll first hit uh, name it like Shankle's demo, and I'll save the PPK only. And I would recommend you to do it with PPK only. If you do it .pem, you'll have to download puttygen, and you'll have to convert this .pem into PPK later on. So better you just download PPK only. So I have downloaded it. It's in my local. Now I'll go ahead and go back to EC2 console. So here we have launch instances. I just clicked it. My name server, Shankus for demo, I would say. And here it is asking me which operating system I would like to use it, right? I'll go ahead and choose the default Amazon Linux, like I said before. And I'll go ahead with free tier, right? T2.micro. You can enable any of the instances from here only. This would have we have the list of EC2 instance types, wherein you will get several other configurations based on the requirement. So if you are working in an enterprise environment, you may want some other EC2 instance type, but this is kind of demo. So I'll go ahead with the default settings, and I'll choose what I created before this, right? Shanka's demo key pair, which I downloaded to local. And moving on to next network settings, what I'll do is uh, I'll choose create security group. If there is any existing, we can look for it. There is one existing default, so we can choose that as well. But since we are creating a security group, you can create it like this, and that would again have some default uh, traffic allowed, since it is a Linux machine. So default traffic is allowed for SSH protocol, right? SSH 22 is the port, and if you are launching Windows machine, it would be 3389. Anyways, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and choose the select existing group because we already have one. So I'll choose the default, right? And we can check the security rules defined under this default VPC. But for now, we'll keep it like this. Storage is 8 GB. Let's keep it default. You can change it to anything. Storage is the EBS volume, nothing but the drives, the disk drives that it attached to the EC2 instance. So we have in Windows, we have like C as a root volume, C drive. Here in Linux, we have one drive called root volume. Additionally, we can attach more, which those would be called as data drives. So I'll keep everything like as it is, and will launch instance from the settings that we have configured so far. So it says success initiated launch of EC2 machine. Let's click this and check what's the pending instance state, and shows us pending for now. We'll wait for 30 more seconds, and it will be changed to um, running, and the status checks would be 2 by 2. So it is changed to running, and status check is initializing. Let's wait for 15 more seconds, and it would be changed as 2 by 2. So meanwhile, what I'll do, and what I recommend you to do, in the meantime, just download Putty, because we'll have to test it, and we'll have to test it using IP of the server. We don't have any public IP here because we haven't checked the box to associate any public IP. So we'll see. We may have to create one IP and attach it here, because I'm not working in an enterprise environment. There is no private connection I have created. So if we try to log into the private IP, it won't work, right? So I'll have to attach public IP, but since it is not there, so I'll create one IP from here in the meantime, which is called elastic IP. Elastic IP and public IP are same. All the difference is the public IP here is the dynamic. If you reboot the machine, if you restart it or start it from here, the IP gets released, and you will get the new IP. So if you by any chance configured any application where this IP is being used, or any other automation where you have the IP in place, so you'll have to change it again. So in that case, we'll use elastic IP. Elastic IP is nothing but the static public IP. So static public IP will not change even if you reboot the instance. So here we go. Status access 2 by 2. That's good. Elastic IP will move on to elastic IP. Allocate IP, and we'll click allocate. So it's allocated. Now we'll attach it to the instance. So we click actions. We say associate elastic IP. We only have one instance in this region, so we have not received any kind of list here. So there is one instance. I selected it. Choose the private IP. This is the IP of the uh, the instance. If you see private IP, all right. So I'm going to click associate. So if I refresh this, you will see the IP attached here. So if I reboot the instance, this will not change, right? So let's give it a try and try to access this machine from Putty. So I have Putty here. What I'll do is, the username by default, when we launch Amazon Linux instance, the username is default EC2-user. You can create other users, and that I have already covered in my very first video when I created this channel. So you can go through it. You can create multiple users with different keys within the Linux machine. So this is the default for Amazon Linux. I'll say the EC2 user hyphen EC2 hyphen user at the rate IP. So this is how we can configure. Even if you remove this and just keep the IP, and then you try to open it up by using authentication method as your key pair, which we downloaded in at first stage. So even if you remove this from here, let's remove it and try to open it. Here it would be asking you for the IP, for the username. which is not asking, and you're getting error. And this is the very good thing that we have got the error, and hence we can cover another dependency of why it is not being accessed. So there is something called security group, like I told you. So security group, if we go into we chose by default the security that it attaches to the default VPC. VPC is nothing but the networks on cloud. So isolated network on cloud is called VPC in Amazon Web Services. So if we open this in next tab, the security group, we have defined rules called this, but we need the inbound rule called 22 because it works only on SSH. So if I keep it for everything, like anywhere, right? Save it. In an enterprise environment, it is not recommended to open it for internet, since this is like testing. So I have uh, open it for internet to the entire world. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try it again. New session, IP, auth, browse, chunkus demo, and open. So it is asking now to accept the SSH key fingerprint. So let's accept it. Now it is asking me to uh, log in, as it is asking me for the username. EC2 hyphen user. I'll say yes. Here we go. So we are into a Linux machine. And if you are working in an organization where you have launched a Linux machine and people or the product manager is asking for new users to be created in this machine with some different keys, because this is kind of admin user, and the key private key that we install, maybe product manager uh, does not want his or her entire team to access this machine using the same key, right? Because they have to perform several tasks, so every task has to be recorded in the user that user is running. So that way we can create multiple users. And like I said, I have already covered in very first video of my uh, channel, so you can go through it. If you like it, subscribe it, and please share it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll come up with next video